Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with The Brave, Season 1, Episode 9 review. So, I'd just like to start things off here. I would like to apologize for this one being so late. In the last week, I've just had, I don't know if you guys maybe tuned into The Walking Dead review last week, but my voice, and it's still a little bit, touchy, but I was, basically without my voice for a couple of days. I think it was maybe even 2 or 3 days last week, and I know, it's not a big deal, but for me personally, it is kind of a big deal to miss out on these reviews, and be a week late like this one. But yeah, I either was having trouble with my voice and I wouldn't have been able to record it, or I was busy. So anyways, is what it is. We're here to talk about episode 9 of The Brave. And yeah, last week I actually didn't know when the season was ending, and then all of a sudden I found out that this was the fall finale, or the mid-season finale. So yeah, basically this episode, and then episode 10 is going to resume on January 1st, and then we're going to get 10, 11, 12, 13. So 4 more episodes left after this one. And then that'll be about the end of January. And then that'll be it for season 1. And we're not sure about renewal. I do want to touch on that a little bit later towards the end of the video. But yeah, so here in the mid-season finale, I didn't expect it to be this soon. Kind of strange with the 9 episode thing, but we'll take it. But yeah, so last episode until the new year, until 2018. So it's actually New Year's Day that we get the first episode of the second half, per se, right? So yeah, and I'd just like to say, for my last video, I get a lot of attention on Twitter, and if and it actually the creator of the show, Dean, I know I'm gonna say this wrong, but Dean Georgiarius, or Georgiarius, something like that. I knew I was gonna say it wrong, but anyways, the creator actually has now took a look at my content about The Brave, my reviews for it and stuff, and that's just awesome. I mean, that's crazy that the creator of the show is viewing my work, and even tweeted at me, said it was I'm doing a good job, keep it up. But yeah, just awesome stuff. So I just like to thank everyone that's here, and that really blew up on Twitter. I got I think it was in the 20s of retweets, and likes was even higher than that. And then his tweets got a lot, and he actually promoted my YouTube channel on his Twitter account, which has thousands of followers. So that was crazy stuff last week. I actually was shocked. So that was really cool. That was the most attention that I've gotten on Twitter, and in social media, and that stuff. So really was just happy about that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. And if Dean, you're watching, or any, I think maybe even one of the cast members tuned into the review last week, but if any of you are watching, thank you so much for recognizing me and recognizing what I'm doing here, and I really enjoyed. I mean, this is these reviews are just because of the show and how good it is. So that's really where this all comes from. So anyways, yeah, let's get into the review here. So hopefully going to be a quick recap, and then towards the end I'm going to talk about renewal stuff, sort of the more ratings aspect, then give a rating, of course, favorite character, and so on, share some overall thoughts. So anyways, let's get into the recap here. And as you can see, as you can hear, my voice is cutting out a little bit already. But anyways, we're gonna try to get through this, and hopefully it's not too scratchy. But anyway, so the mission this week is to kill the man who was responsible for the truck on the beach from episode 1, and his name is Jarif. Or his last name is. I'm not sure what his first name is. I didn't write that down. But yeah, Jarif. So obviously this is the recurring storyline from last episode, the very last minute or last 2 minutes of that one, where we were basically told what this episode was going to be. So we knew that it was that the stakes were high for this one. We knew that there was going to be some big intense scenes, and it didn't disappoint at all. So the team then gets to Iran, meets up with Dalton's friend Hussein, and they had kind of a funny moment there where they, held each other at gunpoint, and then, they of course they were just joking. So that was kind of interesting. I mean, just kind of a funny moment there. And so sorry, Hussein is actually helping them with the mission then, so he's kind of joining the team as like a sixth member, sort of, because he's kind of sort of like their inside guy in Iran. And we also get the idea that this mission is going to be the toughest one yet. They kind of emphasize that highest stakes, yet in the series, for any mission. Jarif is a huge, get right for the American government and the agency, the DIA. And for Dalton's team, right, as well, because they were, personally attacked by this guy. So crazy stuff, really high stakes mission, and it's going to be a tough one. So that was really good that they kind of got that in our minds right from the beginning. So yeah, basically they get a plan in the first place. So they're going to ambush Jarif at a tea parlor where he will be meeting with someone. So Jazz and Preach line up for a sniper shot from a nearby apartment, which I really enjoyed that. That was kind of cool. They haven't really done much of that lately. They have hinted at Jazz's abilities with sniping and all that, but we haven't seen like a, cross-building, cross-town shot like that, which is pretty cool. And then Amir and Hussein sit in the parlor, act like they're meeting. They're sort of like the inside eyes in the parlor. And of course, things go wrong, right? That is the one little negative thing I'd say about the show to this point is that it's kind of, foreseeable that something's going to go wrong. They never get the guy until like towards the end, right? But that's sort of, stereotypical, procedural drama sort of thing. Although this show is kind of, distancing itself from that, and I really like that as well. But yeah, so of course things go wrong. Doesn't go to plan. Jarif gets a little spooked, and he doesn't sit down. So that ruins the whole, shot that Jazz was going to take on him. So then Jazz and Preach try to get a new shot on him when he walks out. They go down the floors in the apartment, and it was a very intense scene. Preach telling her, her wind or whatever like that. That was really cool. And he was saying, like 2 minutes to your left, 2 minutes to your left, really building up the suspense, right? Really intense scene. She lines up the shot, and then all of a sudden the kid walks in front of Jarif a little bit, or was like just behind. He was in the shot at least, and she ends up missing the shot because she's about to shoot a kid. So I think she like purposely kind of like the last second aimed up a little bit and missed. And then Jarif, of course, is kind of like disoriented. Like he kind of sensed that there was a shot, but of course he didn't see it. And this was, I was kind of wondering here too, like, did she actually fire the shot? Because we never heard like any window crack or anything. We never saw a bullet. So I'm not sure where the shot went. Maybe it just went into the wall, didn't make any sound. I'm not exactly sure. Or maybe it just went in the air, right? Maybe it was that high over him. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, it missed him, right? It wasn't a shot for him. So Jarif gets away then. But the good news for them, and basically saving the day, is that the woman, Ada, who is supposed to meet with him, comes to the tea parlor still, and of course she kind of senses that something's up, but the team follows her. And this was a very intense scene where Dalton goes up, on the staircase, and he's trying to figure out what floor she's on. He's going up. And then we also see the body cam footage the DIA's looking at. I really like the DIA aspect of this one too, because there were such intense scenes with the team, in the field. But then you also see, the reactions from the DIA and what, they can do as well on the other side of it. And I really like that, as the show goes on. Really like that part of it. So then Dalton, of course, finally catches up to her at the, near the top of it. And just before he can get to her, she kills herself with a pill, right? And she ends up, foaming at the mouth or something like that. And then she says, death to you all. To Dalton, of course. So obviously, she knows, right? She knows what she's doing, and so she kills herself before he can, get information out of her, or maybe, take her hostage, whatever the case may be. Yeah, so she gets out, she kills herself. So she's, not really going to help them. But the good thing is that they can get her phone and ID, which they use later. So that was really helpful there. But she kind of saved this mission for them, of course. But a very interesting scene there. So yeah, so then the team is, sorry, like voice is really going here, but anyways, the team has given up on the mission at this point. They're kind of, yeah, we got this girl's phone, but it's not going to do anything, whatever. I think this is a lost cause. But then all of a sudden, Jarif texts Ada's phone, right? And he's kind of hesitant of it. We see him with his bodyguard kind of talking about it. So he texts her, and then I think they replied to something like that. And then he calls the phone, and Jazz ends up talking to him. Luckily, he buys it, and not all is lost for the team. Right now, they actually have a chance. So she tells him, I think that they'll meet the next day, something like that. But the only thing is that now he only wants to meet her at the penthouse instead of the tea parlor. So they have to get a brand new plan going if they want to take him out. So then the new plan that they form is that Jazz is going to be disguised as the Ada woman because they figure out that Jarif has actually never met her before, so he doesn't know exactly what she looks like. So she's gonna disguise as this woman, go and meet Jarif in his penthouse, and which is very dangerous, right? Crazy plan. You know, really, really, just crazy, to even think about. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. But I love the Dalton and Jazz scene where, Dalton kind of pulls her away from the rest of the team there and has that one-to-one, one-on-one with her. I thought that was a really great scene. Thought that Jazz, was that was so real. She said, let's make sure that, there isn't other people harmed by this guy. Let's do this and let's get him, because it's worth it for the other people. Even if, we get hurt, we're in danger. It's worth it, to save other people. And I thought that was so powerful. Just, really heroic by Jazz, to even do it, and for saying that as well, for agreeing to the plan. So I really love that portion of the episode there, and that whole scene there, that moment. It was really great, really well done, and the acting was awesome there from Mike Vogel and Natasha Karam. Just really great stuff. So really like that. And so then the rest of it is that Jazz goes in. Dalton and Preach have to wait outside because they think that they'll be made if they go anywhere close to there, because they don't really, there's a little bit of stereotypes going on in this episode, which, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it wasn't, for any, malicious intent or anything like that. Like, no, but there was, quite a few, kind of like funny stereotypes. Obviously Dalton's white, he doesn't look at all, like a typical, Iranian, that was born there and that, practices Islam and stuff like that. So we saw that at the airport as well, too. So him and Preach are kind of off. They have to wait outside. But Amir, McGee, which McGee, like, he looks pretty white. So I don't know. I think that was a little bit of a stretch. But Amir, McGee, and Hussein go in the lobby and act like they're having a meeting or something like that so that they can sort of be the eyes and ears inside. So, yeah. So basically then the rest of the episode is just this insane sequence. So Jazz gets up to the penthouse suite. She gets in somehow, some way, and by the way, Preach is the one who disguises her, so he did a pretty good job there. So she goes, meets Jarif, and he doesn't really suspect anything. He thinks it's her the whole time. And of course, the plan is that she's gonna spike his tea with a pill or something like that, and it will kill him within 5 minutes, but it looked like he's having a heart attack, right? So she should be able to get out. It's not really her fault, anything like that. So it should work, right? So she spikes his tea, just like the plan. It looks like everything's going well. And you're thinking to yourself, really? Like, it's this easy to kill a guy like this? But no, of course, something gets thrown in here. Everything breaks it up when Ada's brother calls on her phone. What are the chances of that, right? I mean, they haven't talked in 4 months that we learn, and then all of a sudden he phones her right when they're having the meeting. So crazy, bad luck there. So of course, Jazz kind of panics there. Sorry. And Jarif, notices right away, he's noticing that something's off a little bit here. So she panics. She splashes Jarif with tea when he tries, to make a move on her because he's starting to notice. And she ends up getting him on the ground. They're wrestling a little bit. And then eventually she snaps his neck, which kills him. And quietly, too, because she catches that vase. He's trying to, get the vase off the table to warn his guard outside. And then Jazz catches the vase right, after she snaps his neck. Really impressive there from Jazz. Really great, spotlight there. And I thought that was great, acting as well. So Dreef's dead, right? But we end up, figuring out that was not the easy part of the whole mission. So then Jazz hides the body and sort of rushes out, right? She wants to get out there as soon as possible. She gets on the elevator and the doors are are about to close. And that is when Jarif's bodyguard goes in the room, finds out, and basically just chaos ensues, right? He locks down the whole building, and it's really the worst case scenario at this point, right? They find out Jarif, well, I don't even think he found his dead body. He just knows that, something went wrong. And obviously the girl is to blame. So yeah, he locks down the whole building basically. All the soldiers are now, chasing to find Jazz and to help the guard with Jarif, of course. So yeah, everything goes wrong at once. They were hoping that Jazz would get out of the building before all this happened, but she's stuck in the elevator. And now, I don't know, when I saw this, I was like, she's going to be stuck in the elevator. But this is going to be kind of cool, right? Because it was a see-through elevator, sorry. So I thought it would be kind of, cool for them to see her and then maybe like her going up and down and up and down. But she actually got out. She actually got out of the elevator. So yeah, she's basically trapped inside the building along with McGee, Amir, and Hussein. Although they think that they can still get out, they still have a chance. But Jazz definitely not, right? She's definitely not gonna be able to get out. So she gets out of the elevator though. At least, she gets off on a random floor. She tries going to different floors, trying to see if she can lose them. And she actually does start to lose them. We start getting hope, that she might get out as Amir and McGee take over the staircases and are trying to get her out. They're kind of, talking, with each other on the comms, where they are. So Amir is at that, south staircase or something like that. And he just has to take out a guard, so she's going to go down there. And I'm not sure why she didn't, just go with Amir at that point, but she actually ended up, still trying to lose him, of course. So she goes into the second floor there. And then Hussein, the whole plan is that she's going to take a staircase down, but then Hussein sees the lobby, and it looks impossible for her to get out. I mean, we see it too. I mean, there's soldiers literally everywhere and at every door. There is no way for her to, to get out through the lobby, through any of the doors through the lobby. So the only option left for Jazz is to jump out of the it was either second or third floor window, which is like crazy, right? I mean, that's going to hurt a lot, and we see that, So that is the only option. That's the last one, the team has. She decides she's going to take it. And I love the little exchange where she says, I'm going to go for the window. Dalton says, no, that's not a good idea. And she says, well, that's what you would do. And, it's so true, right? So I thought that was great. And then Dalton and Preach kind of get in position. They drive over where the window is. And it looks safe. I mean, if she makes that jump, she gets out, they should be able to get her and get out of there, hopefully, and the other three can hopefully get out on their own. And it's so intense. I mean, the intensity level is just insane at this point. I was actually, sitting up on my chair, really into this, and I was like, is she really going to jump out this window? Like, this is crazy. So she counts down to hitting the window, and I felt like that built even more suspense. She was, like, counting down the seconds until she was there. She was slowly walking there. Which I felt like she actually probably should have ran and she would have made it out on time, but build up the suspense. I get it. So then she's just about to jump out the window. She's counting down from 5. Now she's getting a jogging start at it, about to kick that down, and at the last second, she is grabbed by a soldier and taken, and and she, he kind of puts her in a headlock too, so she can't really do anything to defend herself at this point. She is taken by the soldier, and it's like, no, like, Jazz, no, sort of feeling. And I think I actually said that out loud, saying, no, like, that Jazz, no, like, they take her away. So, pretty crazy stuff. We kind of knew that something was going to happen, right? We knew that, they probably couldn't get out perfectly, fine and alive. And she was even saying that I'm probably going to end up with a broken rib or broken leg when I jump out of the window, which is very true as well. So then we see back at the DIA, they get the news, and we just see Patricia. I mean, she throws everything off her desk. She is just absolutely pissed and disappointed in herself too. Like, I don't think it's just the team, in herself as well. Because she did, she was along with them and, gave them okay to do it. So yeah, really, tough for her being the commander right now and having this responsibility of Jazz being taken. And obviously the consequences for her are not going to be good, right? Hussein hinted at the beginning of the episode what they do to women who, do these type of things that they capture, and it's not good, right? So obviously a lot of stuff, is possible here, and it's mostly bad. So complete panic sets in. We see, Dalton and Preach in the truck, their face. We see the other three, their faces are just, totally blank. I mean, they're just so, flabbergasted, so, emotional right now, that well, I guess they hear it, right? They hear, Jazz getting, taken. So crazy stuff, and then the episode ends. We kind of zoom in on Dalton's face, and it's like, really, I mean, that's the worst we've ever seen Dalton for sure. And the episode ends like that. So an amazing cliffhanger on this week's episode, obviously, because it's the fall finale, the mid-season finale. So obviously they're going to give us something like that to kind of hold us over for the next month and a bit. But yeah, crazy ending the episode, crazy stuff there. Again, trying to tone down these recaps, so I'm not touching on everything here, just sort of the main stuff. But yeah, crazy stuff there, crazy ending. So now I'll get to my rating, favorite character, and some overall thoughts, and some news about renewals, possibilities, and some ratings. So in terms of a rating for this episode, I'm going to give it a 4.7 out of 5. So yeah, it wasn't as good as last week's. Last week's I just loved in general. I just thought it was so cool. How you had a horse riding and all the different aspects, the suspense and all that stuff was really, really well done. With it all kind of sort of mashed together, and the ending of last episode was good too, right? Building for this one. But I felt this one was very strong again. Yeah, I mean, a couple, there were a couple negatives, but not much, right? I mean, not too much. It was pretty fast paced this episode, but and it was kind of predictable at times. But I thought the Jarif and Jazz scene where she actually kills him was actually not predictable at all. I didn't think that it was gonna go down like that. So yeah, that was good. And yeah, I mean, just a really heroic thing for Jazz to do. And I thought there were some strong scenes with her in the episode as well, and with Dalton and her. That was one of the best scenes of the episode there. And I liked the Hussein character. He was kind of cool, kind of helping them out. At times, though, I don't know if I was the only one, but at times I kind of thought that, like, he was drifting towards, like, leaving the hotel, abandoning them, or somehow he was working with Sharif. He just seemed, like, really sketchy. I don't know, maybe this was the actor, kind of doing this, or maybe it was actually the character, and we're going to see it next, when we come back. I don't know, but it just seemed like he was kind of shady at times. And that, maybe he was working with Sharif, secretly. I don't know. Maybe. We'll have to see. But anyways, yeah. So really some good positive stuff this episode. And yeah. So, but there were, a couple negatives. That's what kind of bumped that one down. I was expecting a little bit better, to be honest, for a fall finale. But I mean, this, the whole mission and the whole, information on it and stuff kind of built it up. So that kind of helped that as well. Even though, that it wasn't the most action that we've ever seen in the show, for sure. Okay, so let's talk, so fall finale, of course. This is the mid-season finale. And then, like I said earlier, January 1st, we're coming back for 4 episodes, and that is it. So I actually did contact Dean Gregorius, the creator of the show, on Twitter, and he told me that they do, this is the fall finale, they come back January 1st, they have 4 episodes, and that's it. So NBC has not, extended the season at all for them, so they are just shooting 13 episodes for season 1, and apparently a lot of people I've seen are talking about that's not a good thing in terms of a season 2, that they're not extending that first season. So we'll have to see what happens. Of course, it's still possible that they get renewed, and there's probably a higher chance of that, but people just think that it would have been a higher chance if they extended the season for sure. So let's talk a little bit about ratings. So for episode 1, the pilot for it was a 5.96 million live. So these are US viewers, of course. So live US viewers, they had 5.96, and for this episode they had 9.67 million total viewers. So this is taking into account DVR. I think viewing on their website is included as well, like the NBC.com, streaming app or whatever like that. That's included, and then of course they take in the live numbers. Well, so those are the numbers for episode 1 that I have. Now for episode 9. So just to compare here from the beginning to the end, episode 9 had 4.66 million live viewers, and we do not have a total number yet. Usually they release that about 2 weeks after the episode comes out, and we're only a week after. So obviously it has dropped. So we're basically at 6 live for episode 1, and now we're at about 4.5 live if you're rounding, right? So obviously that's a bit of a loss, right, for this show. And I'm surprised because I thought episode 8 was awesome. And I thought honestly that this one was going to maybe even top the pilot ratings, to be honest. And it may have with the total viewers, maybe, maybe just people recorded. They didn't have time this Monday. Who knows? But live, at least, it's not really showing that, which I don't understand. I thought episode 8 was the best episode of the season so far. Thought it was really good, and I thought that would really inspire more people to watch it this week. And apparently not. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that is. I really enjoyed it. Maybe not everyone did. I don't know, but the stuff I've seen on Twitter and other social medias, that people were loving it. People really liked that episode 8. So maybe that's only the true fans. I don't know. But yeah, so renewal still an option. I think it is. I think that this can be renewed. There's a lot of people. There's actually I think a petition going now that they sent to NBC. Some fans, saying to renew it and stuff, and getting people to sign it. I think I signed one of them. There's lots out there. But anyways, I think that it is still an option. I think that it may happen. If we're, betting on it, I would say probably a 60-40 chance, right, as of now for renewal. Now, again, if they do some more marketing, they advertise it a little bit more, and then we come back for that fall premiere, and we're, all of a sudden, topping those pilot ratings, I think for sure this will get renewed. I think, they're just going to see that they didn't do enough advertising, and I still think that's the case for the show. I still barely see any advertising for this show. And other shows I've watched, that's all that I hear. So, yeah, really crazy. So I really think this is an underrated show, really deserves more attention. But I definitely think renewal is still an option. Now, from season 2, I don't know. If they renew it for season 2 and we're kind of getting these same numbers, I don't think we'll see a season 3. But I'm not a big NBC guy. I don't usually watch a lot of shows on NBC, so I'm not totally into all that information, what they typically do. CBS, I'd like to say I'm a little bit more familiar with, so that I could maybe give a little bit more insight on. But yeah, NBC, I'm not totally positive what kind of criteria they usually use. I did watch an NBC show, I think it was 2 years ago, and it got canceled, and it was around these same numbers. So that's what I'm a little bit worried about. But 60-40 is my chance. Let us come back in the fall, or sorry, in the January. So I guess in the winter. Let us come back in the winter, and then maybe give our thoughts on that again, right? So, anyways, January 1st is when it comes back once again. Favorite character for this episode, then, is Jasmine, played by Natasha Karam. She's doing a great job. I really loved her this episode. Of course, this was kind of a spotlight episode, and that she, was the brave soul to kind of fake being the girl and, take all this on, and now she's captured, and we don't know what's going to happen to her. So, yeah, I really thought great acting from Natasha Karam in this episode. I thought she is doing a great job throughout the season, and honestly, the first couple episodes, I thought she was maybe a little bit, kind of in a shell. She wasn't, as expressive maybe, but now, I mean, she's taken a big leap from where she was in the pilot, and I think, she's just became such a better actor as the show has gone on, and I thought this episode she really came out and really performed. So I thought she had some great scenes in this episode too with Preach and Dalton. So I thought she did, great, and she's also really funny as well. So, and I do a little bit of bias. I do follow her on Twitter, and she actually kind of likes my stuff, and I think she may have seen the review last week. So yeah, I really appreciate that, of course, and that's just crazy. Like, to know that a cast member is watching your stuff about the show, like, that's insane. But anyways, I'm really thankful for that. So anyways, that just about wraps it up. So the ratings, we'll have to see where that goes. Obviously, when we come back, I'll try to have those total numbers, and then we'll kind of compare a little bit more, because I have a feeling that total viewers may be a little bit skewed from the live ones for episode 9. I'm not sure, though, because there's kind of Thanksgiving, maybe people recorded it, maybe people didn't watch it live. I don't know, though, exactly, but that sort of would be my guess, maybe. But anyways, guys, that is it for me for The Brave until January 1st for episode 10, and then we're getting 11, 12, and 13, and then that will be it for the first season of this show. And hopefully we'll look forward to season 2 after that. So we'll have to see. But I don't think NBC will announce a renewal before January 1st, before we come back, even before the end of the season. I don't think that's going to happen. So we'll have to wait for that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. My voice is like dying on me right now. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. Sorry for this one being late again. Walking Dead review should be out tomorrow as long as my voice cooperates enough. And yeah, so make sure if you're watching those, tune into that for sure. But in the meantime, yeah, we'll see you January 1st. We got a little bit of wait here, about a month and a half, and or just about a month, and then I'll be back. So anyways, thanks for watching. Thank you so much for the support on the channel recently. We are growing exponentially. I mean, we're almost at 12,000 views, and I made the announcement for 10,000 last week. So crazy stuff there. Really appreciate it. And yeah, just like thank you guys for that as always. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you January 1st for the new year 2018 for The Brave, Season 1, Episode 10.
I know her heart's not mine, so if you're gonna let me down easy. And if you're gonna let me down, let me know.